Hey guys, hope you guys have enjoyed my reviews. I did the Quiet Place Part 2 review as well as the Cruella review, so hope you guys are enjoying those reviews. I was going to do a collaboration video, doing a little bit of a news topic video, and I'll promise to do that in the next video. But I've got to talk about this movie because I just finished watching it, and my God. So Chaos Walking. Um, so yeah, okay. So you can already tell how I feel about the film, but um, okay. So where do I start? So Chaos Walking is directed by Doug Liman, as you guys know, directed The Bourne Identity as well as Edge of Tomorrow, which I personally enjoyed Edge of Tomorrow. And Chaos Walking has been a film that's been in development for quite some time. I believe they filmed this in like 2017, 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong. And now it's being released now, so you can tell how long this thing's been in production. And the test screenings, from what I heard, were very poor, and just the company did not want to market this thing at all. Like, all the signs were pointing to something possibly not too good. And well, I took a lot of notes, and I wish I could say they were more positive, but yeah. So okay, well, let's start off with one thing that I thought was fine. I'll say fine, at least. I thought Daisy Ridley was fine. I thought she was fine. Tom Holland, not so much, but Daisy Ridley was okay. I thought she did okay in the film from just her own performance, what she was trying to do with it. I thought she did okay. And there is potential in what the concept was trying to represent and present that I thought could have been interesting. Unfortunately, though, the film has a staggering amount of issues, and we're going to get into them right now. The first of which is the structure, which I think really is the real killer of the film. It is completely destructive the way that the structure is handled, and just more or less how the story is told. There's just elements that I feel could have been shown earlier, and we could have had the point of view changed entirely. And with that, what we actually have, because the film's point of view is mostly through Tom Holland, and I did not like that approach. I think that we should have focused more on Daisy Ridley right at the end, right at the beginning, rather, and we might have actually have saved the film a little bit more, because the way it's handled it's just not right, and it makes for a lot of things to it makes a lot of things for the story, unfortunately, to not make any sense, because one of the bigger problems with the film, unfortunately, is that the story just doesn't make much sense. Um, the concept of, just to lay out Chaos Walking, is that Daisy Ridley lands on this planet. It's like a new world, and it is dominated by men. She's the only woman on there, which even then it seems kind of weird. Narratively speaking, seems a little odd, but anyway. And apparently that the men all have that once they land on this planet, somehow their thoughts are now just free. So literally, you can hear everything that the person is thinking. But apparently the women aren't affected to this, which is also still kind of narratively weird, but whatever. And the as Daisy really not being the only woman on Earth, or at least to their knowledge, there is some fascination to be had with this girl, and Tom Holland, of course, comes in to protect her from the men, and from butchering her and killing her and all that stuff. And if that sounds a little strange, it is, because they don't explain a lot about how the men can have these thoughts and how they adapt to this sort of thing, and the rules, because there really is no rules to this film at all. I mean, really, no rules. I mean, you can apparently do things with your thoughts. If you channel them a certain way, you can do this and that. It's just really, really strange, and it just makes no sense whatsoever, the way that the story handles itself. And the other thing that I found really ridiculous, honestly, was that the story actually treats you like you're stupid. Like, they have to spell things out for you like you're a toddler. But what's really messed up is that we can't rationalize what the basics of this world is. So it's like a very toxic type relationship that you have with the film, and I hate that, because I felt like I was supposed to know what the world is, but the film doesn't wish to tell me what it is that the story is about. And I sit here like going, I don't know what I'm watching. And conceptually speaking, also, and thematically speaking, it is also pretty butchered. As I laid out to you, like this premise of a male-dominated world, and there's one female, and the male is trying to dominate the woman, and then there's some other stuff that happens towards the end that it kind of becomes a female empowerment piece. It's very butchered the way that they handle it. I'm not saying anything about having female empowerment. I'm all for it. It's just the way that the story handles that type of mechanic in that type of tactic and that type of story idea very poorly, very, very poorly, and it feels like it's shoving it in your face, and it honestly gets repetitive also in just how they deliver this type of message to you. They like drag it on over and over and over again, and at some points you just become bored, like really bored. And I have a hard time rationalizing what the film is about. I have a hard time rationalizing what the film is trying to be about. It feels like it's trying to be a female empowerment piece. It feels like it's trying to be about this interesting movie about thoughts and feelings, but it kind of goes nowhere. Like, it really goes nowhere with it. And you would hope that the writing might help in explaining some things, but it doesn't. The dialogue is actually extremely weak. Borderline, like, 101. Like, it's not great. Like, I wrote down a quote from the film, and I thought it was just kind of just ridiculous, which was, I'm trying to see if I can pull it up here. It was something along the lines of, like, you hide your thoughts like a woman. And the male goes, I consider that a compliment. And then there was like something else down the lines of you hide your thoughts from women or something. I don't know. Like, it was just like these weird like dialogue that they decided to deliver, and it was just made itself very awkward. And again, just to emphasize, just because I know someone can take this review out of context, I am not against women. I love women. I just think that the way this film handles this approach, because I do believe this is a female empowerment piece, or at least it's trying to be that way, it handles it very poorly. And conceptually, it just feels really ridiculous. Like, when you really put it in full context, take the female element out of it, it's just weird. Like males allowing their thoughts to roam free and all this stuff, and only males too. No females can do this. Like, it's like the rules are nonsensical. There's no rules. Like, they literally have no rules to this. Stuff just happens out of nowhere. Like, Mads Mikkelsen's character at some point can somehow project a wall of some kind, like a wooden wall around people. It's just strange. And to put it short, guys, like, because if this review seems kind of out all over the place, that's kind of how this film was. It just felt all over the place. And with that, like, chaos walking is quite literally chaos walking. Because within its destructive structure, its nonsensical narrative, the butchered themes, borderline insulting concept, and world to add to that, and a runtime also, which I forgot to mention, really overstays its welcome. Like, I think by, like, I looked at my computer because I watched this on my laptop. We had like 30 or 40 minutes left, and I was believing that the film was going to end here, and it didn't. It still was dragging on, and it's overstayed its welcome, unfortunately. Within all of that, it's just frustrating to no end, and really hard to get through, and all the more just boring. And in some cases, as I laid out to you, thematically and narratively speaking, it's embarrassing. Just the way they handle it, it's embarrassing. And in some ways, unfortunately, that word is honestly the best way to describe this film. Just embarrassing. Because the whole time I was thinking, man, I believe this film did reshoots. It needed a complete overhaul. And I completely understand why the company probably wanted to bury this movie, because they barely marketed it. And from watching it, I can see why. And once again, I am not saying anything about females. I support female empowerment and all that stuff. I believe we need more representation in films. However, in how this film chooses to represent that representation, it's just embarrassing. And in general, the film is quite embarrassing. And I bought it for $5 on Fandango now. I don't even think it's worth that, unfortunately.